More than a decade after the events of the first film, the film begins with Jack telling Sully about his humble and peaceful life as head of the Omaticao clan and his wife Neytiri, who also includes his sons Nadia and Loak, and his daughter, took the breadwinner, his adopted daughter Kiri, born of Grace Augustine's comatose Navi avatar, and a human boy named Spider, who was Miles Key Ritchie's son. He was born on the planet Pandora, but couldn't be transported to Earth in a cryogenic state. Babies can. While Jack could accept the Spider as a foster child, Neytiri distrusts him because of his human heritage. However, all the kids blend in and socialize well, including Spider, who is affectionate to Kiri despite being human. Spider doesn't accept his human heritage, feels more leaning towards Navi culture and traditions. They lead normal lives until one day they notice a strange star in the night sky. Much to their dismay, they discover that it was an RDA starship, and the humans return to colonize Pandora and once again establish a new main base of operations, wreaking havoc on Pandora. Among the newcomers to the ship was Colonel Quaritch, who was cloned into the body of the Navi and uploaded his memories from before his death. As a result, Quaritch has no memory of his death at Jake's hand, only past events and his vengeful mission to destroy Jake. To prevent the RDA from exploiting Pandora again, Jack leads a strategic guerrilla operation against weakening their RDA supply lines. During one of these operations, Loak disobeyed Nadia, and desperate to prove himself a Navi warrior, he tried to help Jake in battle but was wounded. Jack rescues him and disciplines him not to act recklessly and endanger his own safety. While tending to his wounds that night, Knightley calmly reminds Jack not to be too hard on Loak, prompting Jack to express his concerns as a father for the safety of his children. Meanwhile, Quaritch, displeased by a retaliatory strike on an RDA supply line, launches a search mission to kill Jack. In an interesting experiment, Jack's children explore the depths of the rainforest with Spider-Man. Unbeknownst to them, Quaritch and his team were scouting nearby where Quaritch found his human remains. A vigilant Loak notices their presence and quickly notifies Jake. A skirmish ensues, with Quaritch's squad capturing Jack's baby. Jack and Neytiri arrived in time to free most of them, but Spider was kidnapped by Quaritch, who recognized him as his son. On board, the RDA attempts to blackmail Jack for information from the Spider, but is rebuffed. Changing tactics, Quaritch calls Spider his son and explains more about the Navi in exchange for his freedom to side with him. Despite being uncooperative and unaware of Quaritch's true mission, the Spider taught Quaritch about the Navi culture. Quaritch also managed to tame flying acorn creatures to serve as his means of transportation. Aware of the danger, the Spiders knew of his whereabouts to their safety and avoiding another catastrophe. Jack persuaded the reluctant Knightley and his family to exile himself from the Omaticao tribe and retire to the coral reef island of Meatcaina's east coast. The island's tribal lifestyle adapted to Pandora's aquatic habitat. Jack passed on his chief mantle to his successor and went to Meatcaina with his family. Once showed up, they are welcomed by the faction boss Tonowari and his significant other Ronald, who is far-fetched of them at first. Notwithstanding, Jake makes sense of their circumstance and they are consented to remain and given cover. Despite the fact that a few tribesmen mock Jake and his kids for their hereditary human legacy, the family learns the methods of the reef individuals, gaining the appreciation of them. Kiri is interested with the oceanic existence of Meatcaina and fosters an otherworldly bond with the ocean and its animals, while Loak gets to know Syria, the little girl of family boss Tonowari and his better half Rana. While adjusting to their new climate, Loak gets into a battle with Syria's sibling Onan when he pokes a rough fun at Kiri and him of their blended human genealogy. Jake reproves his child for his way of behaving. At Jake's demand, Loak gets back to apologize to Onan and his companions. Notwithstanding, they tempt him to an outing into the domain of a hazardous ocean hunter, the Aquila, and leave him abandoned in vengeance. The Aquila attempts to go after Loak. Notwithstanding, Loak is saved by and becomes friends with Byakan, a Tulkan, a shrewd and pacifistic cetacean species whom the Meatcaina think about their profound family. Loak can speak with Baikon through marking and eliminates an old spearhead from the monster's right balance. Upon his revisitation of Mitkeina, Bostanowari, who became mindful of Onun's deceiving of Loak, requests that the previous apologize to Loak. In any case, Loak assumes the fault himself, winning Onun's companionship. He is likewise informed that Baikon is an untouchable among his species. In the meantime, out traveling to a branch off of the Tree of Spirits, Kiri joins with it to meet her mom, yet experiences a brutal seizure. She is mended by Rana, yet when Jake calls Norm Spellman and Max Potel for help, Quaritch can follow them to the archipelago where the reef individuals reside. Carrying Insect with him, he lays hold of a whaling vessel which is hunting Tulkuns to reap their mind compounds for making hostile to maturing cures. Quaritch starts to mercilessly scrutinize the native clans about Jake's area bombing that. He arranges the whaling group to wantonly kill the Tulkuns to draw Jake out. Loak intellectually interfaces with Baikon and discovers that the Tulkun was projected out on the grounds that he conflicted with the methods of his species and went after the whalers who killed his mum. At the point when the Mitkeina learn of the Tulkun butchers, Loak takes off to caution Baikon, trailed by his kin, Syria and Onun. They find Baikon being pursued by the whalers, and Loak, Kiri and Tuk are caught by Quaritch with their youngsters in harm's way. Jake, Neytiri and the Mitkeina set off on a mission to face the people. Quaritch powers Jake to give up, however, seeing his spirit sibling endangered, Baikon assaults the whalers, setting off a battle which kills the majority of the team and basically harms the vessel, making it sink. Nadium salvages Loak and Insect, yet is lethally shot. Jake faces Quaritch, who involves Kiri as a prisoner. At the point when Neytiri does likewise with Insect, Quaritch at first denies his child, however stops when Neytiri cuts Bug on the chest. Jake, Quaritch, Neytiri and Tuk end up caught inside the sinking vessel. Jake chokes Quaritch into obviousness and is safeguarded by Loak and Baikon, and Kiri gathers ocean animals to help her save Neytiri and Tuk. Insect finds and saves Quaritch, however passes on him because of his brutality towards the Navi and putting his objective to kill Jake's family over being his dad and turning into a decent man, driving him back to rejoin Jake's loved ones. After Nadium's burial service, Jake and his family choose to forever remain with the Mitkeina.